Hello and welcome to episode 426 of DCP Plus Side Quest. This week, we got a lot to talk about. Nightreign, which
Never
I don't
heard
think
it.
anybody's playing right now, right? Like
I don't think so.
Specifically right now, no.
specifically
No.
right now.
Specifically at this very moment, no.
Definitely nobody playing it right now.
Definitely not. Nope.
Before we get going, Watts, I got a question for you.
Yes.
What sport has, or what sport or hobby, let's say athletic activity, has the most ridiculously dressed participants?
Pickleball.
Oh, good. Wait, aren't they just dressed like tennis players?
They're just like pickles, I think.
Mm.
Or balls. Pickles or balls. Yeah. One team's
Often it's
team pickles,
pickles
one
versus
team is team
balls.
ball. Yeah, pickles versus balls.
Oh man,
That's
I've
what it
been
is.
playing pickleball wrong. Your way sounds way more fun.
That's why I don't like it as much as I should. I've been dressing right.
Not dressing right.
I say it's got to be cyclists.
Mm.
Because there's a lot of like rich dudes that take cycling really seriously around me. So when I hit the trails and I'm in my gym shorts and they're in like the full like one body suit, skin tight, and then like the helmet that has it looks like a bird beak sticking out the back,
And the nappies.
So
Looks like they're wearing a
Right.
nappy.
that's what I was thinking, and you're close, but it's the power walkers, the speed
Oh,
walkers. You know what I mean? They got
Speed
aerodynamic,
walkers.
like everything.
Like,
They
what are we doing here? We're going
Mm.
4 miles an hour.
I used to work the opening shift at the mall when I was a teenager, and mall walkers. Oh man, the mall walkers that
Were
show
they
up
dressed in
as soon as
spandex?
you. Oh yeah, they would go. They looked like they walked straight out of the 70s to walk
Mall
those halls.
walker. It sounds like a
Mall
Last of Us enemy.
They look like the people that are like dancing with Richard Simmons in like his aerobic videos. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
It's like
Those
people.
I like those. Those are great.
Oh
I
yeah.
discovered a TikTok channel that was about people who slow walk and kind of shaming slow walkers who take up too much of the footpath.
Oh yes, that does drive me crazy. Like, what are we doing
Especially
here?
if they
I got
walk side
places
by
to
side
be.
by side. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
well, you gotta
I
walk
got
a-
four abreast.
I got a related question to that. If you get on an escalator
Yeah,
and you're going to stand there, do you
Move
have a
aside.
particular way that you do that?
rules of the road.
Move to
Stay
the
to the
left.
right. Slow
Yeah, that's
traffic
right.
moves to the right.
That's exactly.
Well, yeah,
it.
say
Yeah.
opposite and straight because we drive on the left. But yes, correct.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
driving
Well-
a car. Move to the slow lane.
Nobody does that in America. It's awful. It doesn't exist. Like basically, people just stand wherever you get two people standing. And I learned, at least when I visited Japan in particular a long time ago, I was like, holy
Oh,
cow, they're
yeah.
so organized. Like people are speeding up the left side.
Yeah.
You better not get in their way. And that was
Oh,
me.
that sounds
I'm
great.
like, get out. I'm going. I got to move.
Well,
Yeah.
And
That's-
everybody politely on the right side. They're
Yeah.
standing.
Escalators
I-
are for losers. Let's be honest.
I mean, I
Like,
take
take
the
the
stairs,
you
but
wimp.
you have to take the escalator sometimes.
sometimes, yeah. Well, what I learned, I spent a summer in China, and one of the things that I learned quickly is that they're super apologetic if they run into you and you make eye contact. But what they will do is they will not make eye contact and they'll plow right through you. But if you look at them, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry.
This is
But
how I'm going to start
basically-
handling the grocery store. I'm just
That's
going
right.
to
If
head
there's no
down,
eye
plow
contact,
through.
it's like walking is a full contact sport there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put some pads on. Get like some of those
I like
football
it.
pads they used to wear in wrestling in the 90s with the spikes on them.
I like that.
Yeah. And just
Yeah,
You ever
I like
watch,
grocery
that.
store is going to be so much more fun now.
You ever watch Knight Rider?
Of course I've watched
The
Knight
show,
Rider.
dude, OG Knight Rider, Dave Hasselhoff, so
Yeah.
amazing. Remember the truck Goliath, and he had the spikes that stick out the sides of the wheels?
Yep.
That's me from now on.
Yeah. Can we put like gladiatorial equipment on our shopping carts?
I want to now. Yeah,
Definitely.
I want us to look like I want my
that
Mad
seems
Max
like a good
shopping
sport
cart.
right there.
Yeah. Competitive
That's a good
grocery
sport.
shopping.
Wasn't that like a game show or something when we were
There
kids?
was, like, you
had to,
like, speed
super
shop.
sweeps or sweepstakes or I don't know. What they
I don't
call it,
remember
yeah.
what it was called, but they'd give you like a task and you had to be the fastest or get the most value of your shopping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The stuff that you used to just fill TV with anything when it was just like, over cable
Yeah.
or an antenna, right? They would just
And we used
imagine
to
being
eat it
back
up
then.
too.
Yeah, like pitching shows. It's like, well, like the
Put it on
big
the air.
show and news isn't on. So what do you want to do in between? They're like, whatever. That
Do you
sounds
guys
cool.
remember when TV would
Claymation?
just stop at like 11 o'clock at night? Like
Yeah.
TV would end, they'd play the American anthem, and then
Okay,
it would
I
just
don't-
be over until morning.
Okay, wait.
And
I don't remember
they
that.
started the morning
You
with the
don't remember
Pledge
that?
of Allegiance.
Yeah, yeah.
That it was just over.
It was just over. TV would end. And like they'd show, I think they'd just show like a flag waving until morning, until like the
I
news
love the
came on in the morning.
concept that like TV's over for
This
tonight.
is in the
Forget
days.
it.
This is
Nothing
how
to
old
do.
I am. This is in the days when you had to stand up and like change the dial on the TV.
Oh yeah, I
Because
remember
you
that.
had like four
UHF.
channels. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like CBS would just end like after like Johnny Carson or whatever. It would just be over. Like no more TV tonight. Go to bed.
You know, imagine if YouTube just did that, where it was like in your time zone. I guess it would just be like, "Sorry, we're offline right now."
That'd probably be
Yeah.
helpful.
Go to
for
bed,
me,
man.
frankly.
It's
Go to
probably
bed.
life might have been better. Yeah,
Yeah.
it might
We
have
missed-
been.
Missed opportunity. It was just like a salute to your local country's flag, and like that's it for the night.
Briar, I feel like a movie you should watch is have you ever seen UHF?
Oh my
It's
God, with Weird Al? Yeah.
What's a
Oh.
phenomenal movie, but that's the premise.
so
Is
good.
basically they get a the rights to a TV station, and they got to
Yeah.
find a way to fill the dead air.
Just gotta fill it.
And it's
The-
a
the
phenomenal
shows
movie.
with Kramer. Oh my God,
Kramer was in that?
Michael Richards. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's like a big star. He's the janitor, and then they give him a job because he's like this like prodigy at like hosting shows. He's so goofy.
I like the one where he's like, "You found the marble in the oatmeal. You get to drink from the fire hose." He blasts a child in the face with a fire hose.
Yeah. My favorite
So
part of
good.
UHF is when they're flipping through just episodes, I think, and they cut to the wood shop one or whatever. And it's just like really like backcountry, like just kind of yokel type dude, and he like cuts his finger off. He's like, "Oops, I cut my finger off." But it's
I
like
think
super
it's on the floor
grotesque,
over
and it's
there.
like
Yeah, it's
spurting blood all over him. He's like, "Well," it's so good.
I can't believe that I would
phenomenal
have to
movie.
watch UHF in 2025. but
Again,
here
yeah.
You
we
have
are.
to.
I have got to see
Oh,
that movie
I-
again.
I just remember the game Spatula City was a show on there, as well as
Spatulas.
the one where you like it's Wheel of Fish. Remember?
Yeah, the
They
red
s-
snapper.
Red
Oh my
Snapper.
goodness.
Very tasty.
No idea what you guys are talking about. I have
You
got
have to watch
zero
UHF.
clue.
You've got to watch this film.
Yeah.
I feel like it would match up well with Australian.
It sounds like
sense of
something
humor.
Myelin would like. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. What's it
absurd.
called? UHF.
Yeah.
UHF.
It's-
Weird
the only
Al.
reason we
Weird Al
watched it was
Yankovic.
Weird Al is in it. That was the pull. That guy's
Oh.
timeless.
Is
Let's
that his
face it.
only movie?
Oh,
I mean, he's probably guested in other movies, but it's definitely his only starring role, right?
I mean, he has the biopic as well with Daniel
Yes.
Radcliffe, right?
That was
I
pretty
never
good.
saw that.
Myelin, you'll be proud of me. I had a Australian film little festival, just me and myself, last week. I watched Castle and Nugget
Oh yeah.
back to back.
Straight to the pool room.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen those for. That's Bana, who was the Hulk, like the OG Hulk, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
What else you want? Do a bit of Crocodile Dundee or what?
No, just those two back to back.
I've never heard
I'm
of
old.
The Castle.
Castle's a great one.
Has the Emu
It's
War
about
movie
a
come out yet?
guy holding on to his house, his castle, and developers,
Oh.
I think, trying to take it over.
Yeah, they're
Oh.
trying to expand the like
Is it an
airport
action
or
movie?
whatever.
No,
No.
it's
Oh.
it's about a dude in his house.
He's just
His
like, I
family.
don't want to move.
Wikipedia describes it as a social study on the lives and aspirations of the inhabitants of suburban Australia.
what is some documentary?
Apparently, it's really hit home to the late 90s suburban Australia.
Yeah.
Remember we found out that they were making a movie about the Emu War? Did that ever come out?
I mean, I forgot that maybe we spoke about this, so I haven't been following the Great Emu World documentary,
I
but
thought it'd be the
not
news
to
of
my
Australia.
knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
All right. Well, I'll keep my eyes open. So how's Nightreign, guys?
It's okay. It's okay.
Interesting
It's okay.
reaction.
It's okay. He's not bad.
You guys playing or what's?
No,
Definitely
this
not
is a
playing.
YouTube video. Yeah, no, this is a.
Definitely not
Nah.
playing. We're trying to die, but we just somehow
But
we
we're
did not
just
die.
too good. We're just too good. you know?
Yeah, it is very frantic, and there's a lot of information to take on board. And I think most of the time, when your first 2, 3, 4, 5 games are going to be like, I don't know what's going on, and then it slowly starts to kick in. But
And
That was
then
the
it
same as the
gets
kind of a
playtest in that
good
sense.
what's that?
I did the playtest that was I was like, you're just running
What?
and it's chaos and I don't know what to do, but just keep running.
Yes, just keep
But I was
running,
like,
and I'm
yeah.
sure it will start working out, right?
I
Possibly.
I did check that at least they have the tutorial, which was not part of the playtest. So that is at least
There
something
is a
There is a
tutorial.
tutorial now.
Honestly, it is the most extensive tutorial I think FromSoft has
Yeah.
ever done.
Really?
which is it's very
Yeah.
Some of us were
straightforward.
like, are we
but-
helping them too much?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Myelin is trying. He's trying to make sure we die. Yeah, he's.
Yeah. Well, maybe describe that actually. Like, in how long is a run generally, and like, why are you trapped in the game right now? What does
35
that
to
mean?
45
What does that mean
minutes.
for players?
I'll
I
give you
don't
the
really
lowdown.
know.
Myelin
give
is
us the
still
lowdown.
like, what's the how do we were trying to. So the reason why we're still in the game now is we were trying to end, because at the end of a run you get to
Okay.
keep stuff that you keep forever.
Okay.
So they're called relics. Myelin can show you what those are, but you get
Yeah, look at
things
this.
that you can slot into your character's kind of loadout before you go on another run.
Okay.
And so you get to keep these forever. Whereas if you just leave the run, you don't get any like meta progression. So we wanted to get our
Grab some
meta
items.
progression. But so
Yeah.
I'll give everyone a lowdown of what Nightreign is. Talk about what it is. So it's Elden Ring Nightreign, so obviously it's in the Elden Ring universe, but it is a completely different game. It's not a DLC or anything like that. It's its own standalone thing. And you think of it like a roguelike, but in the
Yeah.
Elden Ring sandbox. So
Mhm.
the way that a game kind of goes is you get 3 people, whether that's pre-made or matchmaking. There's matchmaking. You get 3 people. You go out on an expedition. You spend all day 1, day 2 collecting loot and leveling up and all that good stuff until eventually you fight the big boss at the end of the night. And that's how you get like your big rewards, and you progress to be able to fight more and more different super hard bosses.
Is there a timer that shows you when the night's coming, or is it just
No.
like a feeling of the ring closing?
It's the ring close. Yeah, so there'll be something that pops up on the screen that says the night draws near or whatever. And the
Right.
music will go boom. And then that's when
Boom.
the circle will start closing. So they do have like a battle royale kind of circle to try and move you to go fast. Because like Elden
Okay.
Ring, base Elden Ring is all about like
Yeah.
take your time, explore,
Go anywhere, yeah.
be super like
Don't
careful
go through
with stuff.
any door and look on both sides before you enter, or you will die.
This game is go, kill the things, get the loot, go fast, because you want to get as high level as you can by killing things and spending runes. And you want to try and amass as many items as you can before that circle goes all the way in. Because every time it does that, so you spend all day looting and leveling up. And then when it comes to the night, some kind of boss will spawn. It could be 3 tree sentinels. It could be Morgott. It could be the centipede demon. It could be a bunch of different bosses. And then once you kill that, the circle will go back out, goes back to daytime, and then you do that cycle again for another day.
And that's what I was going to ask. Are there all the runs a certain expectation of time before you get to like that last boss? Like, how long does the run take? Is it always like if you're successful, it's 2? Is that what you're saying? It's like 2 days and then a night?
Day 1, day 2, yeah, and then a night. Yeah.
Which could be, do
Where
we
you
know
fast
on
travel.
average?
35
how
to
long?
45 minutes for a full run.
Yeah, if you make it through the boss, you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you don't all get wiped.
Yeah, so it's not a quick run. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm like,
Well,
this is
put it
not,
this
you
way,
can't just quickly hop in, right?
Well, we started that
And play
match
around.
at 10-2, I think. 10 to 9, and it's now 9:30. That was 40. Yeah, that was 40 minutes.
But you
Before we
have
start
to
the
keep
podcast.
playing with your team until you potentially finish the whole thing.
You
right?
don't have to.
Until
You
you
get-
wipe.
You get your rewards from day 1 if you just bounce out. Like, in
No.
other words, could
Yeah,
there be...
so what we were saying, Fran, at the beginning was the reason why, like, because you asked why we were like stuck in there. The reason that we were staying in there is because at the end of an expedition, which is what these runs are called, whether you fail or whether you succeed, you are gaining relics. That is your meta progression. That is your roguelite progression in the game where you get to keep stuff and make your character a little bit more powerful for your next run.
Are levels, you carry any levels out? I can't remember.
No.
Oh, so the levels are each run.
Each run. Yeah.
But the relics are the permanent side.
Relics are the meta progression.
That's what I'm asking. What would you take out if you just like say, oh, I hopped in and it's like, oh crap, I forgot I got a dentist appointment, and you leave after the
nothing, because like it's kind of messed up if you jump in and then leave your team and then get rewards. I think that might be really bad game design.
No, I mean I'm making a point, obviously, which is it could be that though if you randomly match.
It could be, yeah.
Don't start at 10 minutes before a podcast. You won't have time to finish. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also lever penalties. Yeah, they don't want you jumping in, leaving your team high and dry.
How do they penalize you for that?
I don't know yet.
Send a ghoul to your house.
Probably some kind of matchmaking thing, like you can't matchmake for X amount of time or something.
They send that lady who wants to like smell your fingers and touch your fingers over your house.
Sleep paralysis with the centipede monster.
Your fingers.
They send a finger in the mail.
A bloody finger.
Crooked fingers.
Yeah, that's
the finger came from in your house. What do the relics do? Like what do you get out of it?
Some of them can be super game changing, where every time you use your flask, it heals your teammates as well. Others are smaller, where it gives you like mind +2 or like dex +2 or whatever. Some of them will be that the first armament that you pick up or the first one that you go into the game with will have holy or fire or magic or something.
Bleed or something.
Or you can spawn in with like a guaranteed item that you can use and stuff like that. So yeah, they're pretty impactful, but not to the point where it's like if you don't have a good one, you won't be able to succeed. Like the thing that is the most important in Nightreign is leveling up. Getting your levels is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and you probably haven't played enough on that front yet, but do you find that I'm just wondering if it's going to lead to like this sort of forced way of playing, like, no, we can't look there. We got to level up, because that's what it sounds like almost, because you're going to want to level up as fast as possible. Yeah, as opposed to say going to a castle
and you become like familiar with the map and where to go. I think you're just slowly building knowledge, because you have to do everything fast. And so like in the beginning, I feel like we're looking at stuff and gaining knowledge, but it's going to kind of sting us later for being slow. Then hopefully when you play a bit more, you'll be like, yep, we're going to go to this church, then we're going to go here. And you start forming like a game plan of which places you should hit up as you progress to be the most like effective.
Yeah. I don't think you'd want to like go into the map and immediately level 1, go to a castle and fight like a boss there, because you're going to take so long to kill it and everything they do is going to one-shot you. So it makes sense to kind of hit some camps and kill some stuff, level up a little bit, and then do that.
It's complete opposite of Elden Ring, like exploration. It's the
opposite.
It's like it's like ignore everything and go.
The guy camp next thing. No, we weren't actually being too crazy. We were chilling mostly.
I was. You'll be freaked out, Fran. I was overwhelmed.
I'll be. Thankfully, I already hopped into. So I could, because when I did the play test, a lot of what I was asking was leading, because I played the play test, I followed it, but I do, it feels so chaotic to hop into these, and they're such long matches. You're really in for it, I think. But I think that is the best advice of like, hey, just like try to take it slow, and you don't have to be next to your team in theory, right? You could focus on your own leveling up. I think it makes sense to stay together, though, right?
Staying together makes sense, because if someone takes down a boss, there's loot that drops,
and you're
gonna want that loot,
and you get the XP from their kills too, right?
If you are far apart though, and like say we clear like small camps by ourselves, does you share the?
You did the playtest leveling.
I think so.
In the playtest, I'm almost certain I was tracking it. You did, which I was like,
how far
that's
away
cool.
you can be.
Yeah,
you got the game fired up right now. Test it.
No, I've closed it. I've been very
closed it. I'm looking at chat now. I'm looking at chat.
But I do believe that's it. So maybe that's helpful. But then as well, what I was wondering, it looks like, are there 8 characters
There's
to
8
choose from out the
characters,
gate?
yep.
There is?
Not out the gate. So there's
Okay. It looked like there
actually
was 6.
Oh, yeah, what's
there's
got one too?
6.
So where
I
are the
got
other 2
2.
right now? Because I thought the DLC
I
was
got 2.
after the 8.
I got the 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got both of them already?
Mhm.
How do you unlock
right.
the 2
Um,
additional in the current
So the ones that
non-DLC?
you don't have are Duchess and Revenant. Duchess was actually in the playtest.
Oh, yeah.
But Revenant we didn't know anything about until Bandai introduced her with Evanescence, Wake Me Up Inside, the trailer.
Which is awesome.
It was really great. If anyone hasn't watched it, I do recommend
I need
watching
to
it.
watch this.
So many people were like, well, guess I'm buying the game because it's very like, if you were on the internet back then, it's very 2000s AMV, like video game edit of a music video. It's
Yeah.
like, it's very that. So, but yeah, so the way that you unlock Duchess is at the end of an expedition, randomly you'll get a pocket watch to drop. And then there's this kind of cloaked character in the round table hold. You give her the pocket watch, and that unlocks her with a very cool cutscene. After you unlock her, you're able to go to the little jar guy. So he looks just like the jar guys that you know from Elden Ring. And you can
Boys.
buy another item, and that item puts a little highlight in the round table hold of a character that you can go over to and talk to. When you talk to them, it puts you into a solo arena fighting the Revenant character and all of her summons. And then if you are able to defeat her summons and her, you get to unlock the character. And then you got all 8.
God.
Yeah.
And
So
then
I haven't played
Yeah.
this game. I haven't watched any of it. Can you guys explain just kind of briefly, like, what is like the progression of this game? Like, I understand that we're gonna go in, we're gonna, it's like got the ring that gets smaller. We fight a boss, we make it, or we don't, and we get some loot. Why am I doing this over and over? Like, is there progression? Like, is there a story? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, so there is story. There's an overall story, and then each of the individual characters also have their own story. So if you want to see all of their stories, you're going to be playing all of the characters. And some of those stories actually take you into an expedition to do a specific thing, or you have to do like a boss fight or something like that. So you have that in terms of story. In terms of progression, you only can fight one boss at the beginning, like one Night Lord is what they're called, the thing that you fight at the end of all of this. So as you defeat each Night Lord, you're going to be progressing to be able to unlock the next Night Lord to fight. The other things that you're doing is you're unlocking remembrances for the characters, which are kind of those lore moments. But when you do those story moments, they'll give you some of the best relics for those characters that will be specific to those characters and really change how you can play them. They'll change their abilities or what they do. So that's another thing that you're progressing towards. And then unlocking the relics that you can take into every single match is another thing that you're progressing. And
Yeah, and
making
then
builds.
I think the one
With-
thing that you touched on that is kind of truer to Elden Ring, which is it's just like that knowledge of when you have like a favorite weapon with like a weapon skill, and meaning there's going to be a lot of stuff falling at your feet. I assume that is also some of the skill where you're like, oh yeah, I just want to use this with this. Where at first you're like, I don't know what I want to use.
Yeah.
Is that somewhat
Well,
accurate? In other words, you become more
skill
powerful by
progression.
knowing what to put together in these builds that you can just sort of, because you're getting drops, right? Like the rarity of drops while you're playing.
Mhm.
But that doesn't change based on how many Night Lords you beat or anything, I guess. It's just literally each
No,
run you
it's-
could get a
So-
sweet weapon.
It's kind of a hard game to explain because it's randomized and it's also not, right? Like there's going to be some events that happen that there could be a giant volcano in the middle of the map. And if you go into that volcano and you kill a boss, you can get a legendary weapon and upgrade it to like the highest rarity of weapon. Sometimes that's not there. Sometimes it's another event. But some of the stuff isn't randomly generated. So like castles will be in the same place, but the enemies that are in there and the bosses that are in there will be different. So I guess that's maybe the easiest way to explain randomized versus not randomized. But yeah, you're progressing through the game to be able to fight all of the different Night Lords.
So
because you
once
can't
we
fight them all at
defeat this first Night Lord, is there like a timer before another one comes along, or is it
You go on another expedition.
you just
So
like the
the
next one just comes up?
for expeditions, you're choosing the Night Lord that you want to fight at the end of your 2-day cycle.
Yeah.
So we can only choose one at the moment. We kill him, and then we can go back to the round table hold, select the other Night Lord, and then it starts
okay.
another expedition. Yeah.
Oh, that's how
Right,
you do
right.
it. I was wondering
Yeah.
once you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
beat the first one, like what happens.
Yeah, you kind of select your target at the beginning, but then I didn't know once you defeat that, if just another option opens up to select the
Yeah.
second target, and then okay, and
Yeah.
they're all available straight away.
What do you mean straight away?
Like,
Oh, like if there's
we
DLC?
don't have to wait till week
Night
2 to
Lords?
get the second Night Lord.
No.
He's a Destiny
No.
player here.
I was gonna say
No.
Destiny's ruined you.
No. Also,
They're
you
not time
earn all
gated,
of
are
the
they?
skins in the game through gameplay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't even know what amount or yeah, that sounds
You
good.
gotta
Man,
pay for
Yeah,
the
there's
game,
no
really-
dumb battle
Fran.
pass, is there?
There's no
Yeah.
battle pass.
Just the
There's
I
no
heard they're
battle pass.
microtransactions.
You
No
buy the
battle
game,
pass yet.
and the game is there.
Now that I like. Wait, how do you earn skins? Any idea of like how many looks for your
So when
character?
you do expeditions, you
exciting.
gain currency that you can use to unlock more outfits at the jar guy.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the DLC content, I don't think we know the details of yet, but you can buy it as
No.
part of the deluxe edition. There's
Part of the
supposed to be, I
deluxe
think,
edition,
new
yeah.
bosses and night fairs, right?
Yeah, new Night Farers, new Night Lords. And just for context, the game itself is $39.99. The deluxe edition is $54.99. So even if you buy everything for the DLC, the full game, and all of that, you're still playing like less than a full price game.
Yeah, I don't think you can buy the DLC yet separately. My guess is it's probably
You can. It's
$19.99 and-
$15.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm
It's
wrong then.
$15. Yeah.
Oh, so you can wait. You can buy the DLC, and they did not provide the details other than there will be more.
You want to
Um,
buy this thing?
think,
What's
right?
in it? I don't know.
So
I think,
well,
unless they
there's a
change
couple of
that.
things I can. So the deluxe content does come with a digital art book and mini soundtrack as
Yeah.
part of the deluxe edition, and then it also comes with the additional DLC that's coming Q4 2025.
Well, but you can't buy the DLC yet then, in terms of separately, is what I was saying.
Well, yeah, you can. It's $15.
You can upgrade.
No, you have. I mean, I get it. I think it's semantics, but you
You're
can only buy the
upgrading to-
deluxe edition.
Yeah, you're upgrading to, so you can buy the base game, and then there's an upgrade to the deluxe edition. That deluxe edition has
Yeah.
all of the art book and the soundtracks and all of that, but that is also your access to the additional DLC coming in.
I know.
Q4
Yeah, that's what I
2025.
bought. I mean, in other words, I was expecting that at some point they'd be like, "Oh, and now you can buy the DLC as later." But maybe you're just saying you think they'll just make you buy an upgraded deluxe pack. But I guess it doesn't matter. But
It's
that's all I was
$15.
getting
I
at.
feel like $15 for DLC content is probably where it would land anyway.
Okay.
Plus you get an art book and a soundtrack.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, if you're wondering like, well, why would I want to play this game? It's, you're experiencing Elden Ring sandbox. So all of that magic, all of those weapons, all of those bosses, all of those enemies in a roguelite experience where you are building out your character each run within the Elden Ring sandbox, which there's a ton there. And it's really fun. And you're not just picking like, oh, I got my one weapon, I'm good, I don't need to look at anything else. Because the way that it works in the game is that you can pick up weapons that you're not actually using in your hand that will give you passive bonuses. Like when you kill an enemy, it will heal you, or more stamina regen, or some other stuff like that. So you're still wanting to look at different things, and all of those things come together to create a build. So I had a really good thing going when I was using the archer guy, because I found a bunch of things that had improved range damage on it. So I was like, man, my damage is like so much better. Sometimes you're going to get good RNG, sometimes you're going to not, but that's kind of the fun with roguelites, is being like, okay, what can I put together with the little things that I've been given? And you play it with friends, and it's I gotta say, we got like what, a little bit over 3 hours of gameplay, and I just want to keep playing. It's really fun. The chaos that ensues from, oh my god, there's this boss, oh god, I got one shot. oh, we gotta go over here, you gotta go fast. It's pretty crazy.
See, that's the one that so I don't. That's funny. That's the voice I use to describe this game too. Is it chaotic? Like, we gotta go to the. So that's the one thing I'm like concerned about, and we'll see when I play it how I feel again. But I will say, with what you're just describing, that's one of the things I think is cool about it to look at positively. Is like in Elden Ring, it's a grind to like get everything, try things, like
Yeah.
respect to try things. In this, you get to play with the world of Elden Ring. And I think
that is
that's
cool.
the biggest positive is like, oh, dude, I never built this type of character. And like
Right.
now I'm just going in, having fun, trying like everything. So I'm interested to
And
see
the
how
other
that
cool
feels.
thing on that note, Fran, is even if you're like a character that scales with dex, you can still use an intellect weapon. You can still use any magic you want. It might not do as much damage as the character that scales with that, but there's nothing that stops you from picking up anything
you-
and
Do you
using
know?
it.
Do you know if the weapon skill always works?
The weapon skill always works. Yeah.
Oh, so that's cool. So you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in Elden Ring, it's like, oh, you can use the weapon sword.
Yeah.
Okay, in this
Yeah,
case,
use
you
it.
get to experience. It's just not like
Yeah.
on its
Just won't
base
do as
power or
much
something.
damage. Yeah, just won't do
Okay.
as much damage. But yeah, I do really like that you can go in there and mess around with a bunch of things and kind of see what you like. And there's no real downside to it because you can just drop it and be like, okay, let me put my other sword on that scales better. But you can just pick it up and try it, right? You can go into some trash mobs and try and see what you think. And then
Nice.
How much do you get to like determine your own build as opposed to you're just rolling with whatever you pick up and trying to kind of create a build on a fly? On the fly.
I think a lot of that will come from relics. So there's gonna be actually when you're selecting some of the Night Lords that you go and fight at the end of the whole loop, you can see what they're weak to. So it will show that they're weak to holy damage. And you could go, okay, I have a relic that guarantees that I get a holy damage weapon when I go in. So
Oh,
that's probably
nice.
like the biggest deterministic thing that you can do for your own build is getting relics that guarantee that you start with a specific thing. And then the other thing that you can do to make sure that you're getting, let's say you are building a holy damage build, is when you bring up the map, the key locations will have an icon next to it. It'll be blood or poison or magic or holy. And it means that that area is going to drop that damage type of weapon. So you can also just look at the map and go, okay, we want to go here. We all want fire weapons because this boss is weak to fire. Let's go to the fireplace.
Nice.
There's
It's
a lot
really
to
fun.
learn.
There's a lot to learn, which is really good because it's going to mean
good.
that the life of the game is much longer because you've got all of the characters to learn and the loot to learn and the routes to learn and the bosses to learn. And we haven't even
Yeah.
seen the bosses that have like MMO type mechanics in them. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
And
Yeah.
and again, you can have multiple of the same type of characters. Is that right?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's where I'm curious if there is some like balancing loophole, and they are patching the game already. We'll sort of see how fast, but I wonder if it's going to turn into like by this weekend, it's like, oh, just play this, find this stuff, or will it have a ton of diversity in terms of power?
I'm hoping like everything's broken. That's my hope. It's just like
long
people
as
just
it's-
find crazy
Yeah.
combos. It's like, yo, this combo's insane. Watch this. And just super tank. You just tank all the things for your
Yeah.
teammates, and then someone comes and stabs it in the
Yeah, I
butt.
mind that way less. As long as there's a diversity is what I'm saying. But if like everybody's just casting magic by the weekend and like don't play the other ones, you're like, well, that's no fun. But I mean, that's where their work is cut out for them. And obviously I think they're well prepared. I have an update on my question that I found, by the way. So my Spidey sense
Okay.
was going off. I was like, on the DLC, it's like included, which is what I bought. And then I just was reading it. So they say that the DLC will be available by Q4 of 2025. So by the end of the year, that is on the store pages here. But then they say the deluxe upgrade pack will only be available to purchase until the release of additional DLC. So they are taking it offline. So I wonder if it could be $20. Or,
Interesting.
who's to say? I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's maybe splitting hairs, so to speak. But just be aware if you want it, you might want to pick it up now. And it means we're going to get more content in the next 6 months. So
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the game. I think so many of these games it's like it's so good with friends, but like the way that you can work together with your friends in this game, like obviously so many co-op games are always better with friends. But the things that you can do with each class kind of working together, I think really makes co-op feel it just makes it feel even more fun than like another game that, is good because it's with your friends. There's a lot of working together. And I've saw people when we were streaming it, people in chat were saying, I've just been matchmaking and I'm having a blast. So yeah, I think
Nice.
it's really fun. There's a lot of learning for all of the characters, just the characters, and you've got 8 of them at the moment. You're gonna get more later. And they all play so differently. And then you're gonna get relics that make those characters play differently to how they were playing before. So I think there's for 40, 50 bucks. How much did I say this? 40 bucks?
$40, yeah.
For 40 bucks, I think you could easily get your money's worth from the game, I think.
Any networking issues? I didn't hear that.
I didn't have any. Tefty said he was having some like kind of framiness going
Yeah,
on.
Some
But
server timing
I was
stuff, maybe.
I've played with Tefty and Dimitri, Dimitri's in Canada, Tefty's in California. And then I played with Myelin and Tefty and Myelin and
Yep.
Dimitri, and it was totally fine for me.
That's
I didn't
that's
experience
great to
anything.
hear. Yeah,
You're all
I
on
had
PC?
noted.
Yeah, I didn't notice any crazy latency. Maybe a little bit, but nothing like, I'm halfway running away and getting fallen
Rubber
over
banded.
for no reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good because
Wait.
like it's not that type of game, thankfully, of like precision shooting, in the
Unless you're
Well,
milliseconds.
it's
playing
precision
Sir
dodge.
Sekiro. If you're playing Mr.
Well-
Sekiro himself, you might want to be precise with your parry.
The parries, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys
Yeah.
all playing on
Maybe.
PC?
Yes. Yeah,
No
there's no
crossplay.
crossplay, so
Or
If you
cross
do
save
wanna
or cross
play-
progression, right?
no
Why not?
crossplay. Because it's FromSoft. Like the day
Oh.
that they do crossplay or anything. Honestly, the fact that there's a server that connects is a damn miracle.
Yeah, that's true.
God, I hate. It's obviously it's hard, right? I mean, they made like $1.5 billion, so to speak. I'm sure after margins and what it's different, but like, let's just say they made $1 billion on Elden Ring, and then whatever this costs to develop, like, and it can't be a decision of like, well, let's just not have cross save nor cross play. It's like it goes to show you
Yeah.
this is a continuing issue, which is why I'm going to continue to harp on it because it's not high on the priority list. But I'll take the win that there's no battle pass in this. We're making a little bit of progress at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
one of those
just a
things,
full
right?
game.
Where it's like making a co-op game with no crossplay feels a little insane, and that should have been absolutely there. But yeah, on the other end, I'm like, it's a $40 game where all of the game and all of the stuff is in the game. I don't have to buy a battle pass or buy a skin or buy extra relic space or whatever. It's all there for $40, and I do like
Yeah.
that.
But it is insane is the right word of like a game that will
Yeah.
thrive on whether or not you can matchmake eventually. Because it can't be predicated on the idea that you'll just play with your friends, like across, let's say they want to sell 5 million copies of this or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it has to be, they're like, no, we can keep the
Untrue.
population up across each platform. Like it's insane. So I
True.
don't know
It
if they
is
ruled
insane.
out whether or not that's something they can add in the future. Because imagine
I
if
don't
that
know.
was the DLC
Oh my god, if
launch
they did,
message.
that would be
Like
amazing.
that would be, it's funny how that would become like a win,
That would be
We-
amazing.
won everybody over with the DLC.
Fun though, so far. Obviously, only 3 hours. So, we're
I
gonna
can't wait
play
to play.
more
Yeah.
tomorrow. Tefty and Myelin and me are playing tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific. And I'm gonna play at 12. I'm gonna play from 12 p.m. Pacific and just do some games.
Nice. I'll be playing tonight. I can't wait to dive in. Literally, you dive in and battle royale
We
bubble.
might have to
dropping
get
on.
together to play, Fran. Maybe.
Where we
We'll
dropping?
see
Tomato Town.
if Fran will play with us.
Oh, I would love to.
Oh, we would love to play with you.
Yeah.
So I missed last week's podcast. I'm sure you guys
Mm.
talked about the marathon.
I was drunk.
Oh, nice.
Were you
I'm
really?
sorry I missed it.
It was my
I know.
10-year partnerversary, and I was drinking sake all day.
Nice. Brought sake.
But yeah,
I
we-
went camping this weekend. I brought sake. It was a big hit. Everybody liked
Yeah.
it.
I feel like
Drinking,
any.
camping and sake. Let's go.
Yeah.
Have you ever brought alcohol that's not a big hit?
But it was cold
Pretty rare.
Yes.
and
Yes.
sake is hot.
We talked about this. You can have both though.
What are
so-
your
you're-
thoughts on Marathon,
well,
Briar?
I wanted to ask you how far you got. Like, how far did the news get by the podcast time? I know that they had
All-
the live stream, right? And then
Yeah.
The art leak and
right,
theft
the world's most
being
depressing
confirmed by
live
Bungie.
stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically
Yeah.
all through that, but I don't believe we talked about actually my friend Colin Moriarty. That's the whole rage bait discussion that's happening where people do not know how to report. Well, I'm being okay, they don't. People are reporting headlines and news in a way that is suddenly goes away. And then all of a sudden everybody's saying marathon's canceled, the marketing plans are canceled. And that's not what happened. But anyway, so we didn't talk about those elements, but everything.
Yeah. Tell me what
through-
happened.
But yeah, I don't know where you want to start, Briar, but we all the way through the art theft and that people are like, we don't know if it's going to make it out this year.
So
That's as far as we made it.
you guys, that was your opinions that you guys are thinking it's going to get delayed.
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember what I said, yeah.
What I left at was, despite the technical issues with the stream and obviously the art theft conversation, I did like how they were talking about improving the game, and I thought that all those discussions were good, but it's kind of close to the deadline to be having all these discussions. So
Yeah.
I left it on. They're on the right track. I think they've got a lot of vital information from the alpha, but it looks like there is a shit ton on the plate of to-do list.
That's
And
right.
For a
I
game that
don't know.
has negative hype, right? Like
Yeah, I
this
was-
game now
Right.
has like anti-hype from
was gonna
Bungie,
say,
who are like kind of really good at building hype for stuff. Like to see them stumble over on the hype train aspect of it just seems really odd.
Yeah, I was gonna say you and TV weren't on last week, right?
No.
Yeah, I'd
that's
love
my
to hear
week
from
off.
you guys. Like, wow, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, my biggest concern is that after that live stream, it was a whole lot of like major issues that they learned from the alpha that people are concerned about, and their response was, "We're looking at that. That's something we're thinking about. Yeah, we're trying to find solutions to that." There was no great. Here's our plan for this issue. Here's what's happening with this one. It just felt like there was no like immediate, like how do you fix all that stuff before this
Yeah.
potential launch date if you don't
I mean,
have
the-
a plan right now in place that people are running with? Like, I don't know that.
But I think the art
The-
stuff derailed that ability as well. Like they
Yeah.
had plans, and then it
It's slowed
all
down,
is up in the air. That I think they had to be very careful about everything they were saying, and for some reason they had that live stream. I just still can't.
Can't believe
Imagine
they did
why.
that. I can't. How do you not?
Yeah.
It's insane.
That was. I mean, it was
Yeah,
hard to
like-
watch. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is just brutal to watch.
Yeah,
This.
you got
can't
nothing to
just sit here
show.
and do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my be all end all is just that I'm personally, like I said, I'm not really into extraction shooters that much. I've played plenty of them, given them a fair shake. I'm just not sure that it's my thing. So if the alpha wasn't hype enough to win me over to being open to consistently playing an extraction shooter, then I probably won't play it. But I mean, I'm still hopeful for the game. Obviously, there's a lot of really talented people who are working on it, people that weren't involved in art theft, who are just trying to make a good video game, and I certainly feel for them. So I never cheer for a game to fail. But on the other hand, I can't say it looks like it's going to succeed yet either.
Yeah, they're giving you nothing to cheer for it to win.
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're-
Brian, what
especially if they're not going to advertise it.
Well, no, I mean, so let's be
Tell me
clear on
about
that. Okay, yeah, a couple things. Well, let me at least say last week another major topic was I had said I think the conversation has shifted so much in gaming in general, but certainly for Marathon is will the game be successful? Is Bungie going to be successful? Versus just like we've moved so far past like what did people think of the game? So I think there's something to be said about that. But putting that aside, the newest thing was that it's like Colin Moriarty, Sacred Symbols is one of the podcasts and main things they run. And on there, I want to pull the exact quote, but effectively he says, hey, I know someone in a key marketing territory where the Marathon stuff got pulled. So effectively saying, I have one source, I believe, that I know of, someone in a territory somewhere of where the marketing is getting pulled. And like, there was nothing more detailed than that, which suddenly spun into Marathon's marketing has been canceled by
But
Sony.
Forbes
which is
was
not what
reporting
happened.
Something similar, right?
I don't know how Paul addressed it, but then what this turned into, I believe, and again, I don't want to point fingers because I am out of touch on the exacts. You've got Scarrow, if you know Scarrow involved, was trying to tell people kind of what I'm saying, was like, wait, no, that's not what Colin said. Well, by the way, Colin responded, if you want me to read his post. He's like, this is what I said.
Where can
Is it reasonable?
find
'Cause
this
no.
information?
If it's
Fran?
inflammatory, then yes.
So just it's not inflammatory. He's like, well, here, I'll pull a little bit. The short of it was, as the Cross had a thumbnail up and maybe still does, it's like canceled. Just, because like that's what YouTubers do. But
Yeah.
I would agree. Like Paul addressed this as well. He's like, wait, you're taking a small bit of info and the audience is now saying you're rage baiting us, you're clickbaiting us into like all this rage over. That's not totally true. And being taken out of context. And so now it's actually interestingly, and I only got this from Paul's video, but there's a bit of a shift of like defense of Marathon in there. Of people who like time out. Now you guys are going too far. That's part of what I'm hearing is you've got some people coming to say like, hold on, give him a chance, But in short, the marketing has not been canceled by Sony. The game is not delayed. And another facet here was PlayStation Canada, I think, just had a teaser trailer for upcoming games. And like, of course, they just stuck the plan in the same way that you can go look at Marathon's page and it's coming out September 23rd. Like nothing has changed, but people read this tweet as like, oh, it is happening. And it's like, it's such a mess that,
no kidding.
like with what TV and you were saying, like they have to, come on, you have to say something. It's almost like, I equate it to my corporate life where like stuff is happening at the company and it's like a mess and people are confused. It's like, are there going to be this? Is this changing? And you need the CEO to come down and be like, look, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And we're in this zone of like, what's going on?
Do they
Whether
even
the CEO
know?
is, yeah.
Well,
So,
and then to
I don't know
add
if that made
fire
sense.
to fan the flames a bit more, did you happen to watch like Destin's video where he talks about
Oh, I did.
reports
Destin
from
who? Never heard of him.
Yeah, Destin had some sources that talked
Destin
about
had
the
some
state.
sources, people who had left the studio and had some things to say, some light to shed on leadership as well. And I don't think not that Destin shouldn't have reported that, but I think that also added to people feeling really inflamed about the whole situation as well.
I mean, that's becoming a story that kind of pops its ugly head over and over again for Bungie, right? Is the leadership like doesn't seem connected anymore.
Yeah, I mean the reports. So yeah, Destin had a couple folks saying that there was, some toxic workplace environment stuff, which we've heard before. And, it's like part of it, you can be like, well, if it's people that left the company, like, of course they're going to feel that way, but are they still there? Are they on the project? Like, I'm not defending it. It's just, of course, and this is Bungie's problem. Like, you're going to hear a lot of negative stuff unless you really show. You have to show, not tell.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you guys are Bob Sony right now, right? And you're like, what the hell is going on? We just paid how many $1 billion for this studio? They were supposed to like head this initiative for all these live service games. Those are dropping like flies. The guy who even started that initiative is gone. They start like kind of showing off Marathon, and it just is making people more mad and more mad as they go. As Bill Sony, like, what are you thinking right now? Because I ain't happy.
I mean, obviously there would have been big talks like, hey, like how far along are you compared to the alpha? What state is the game in currently right now compared to the alpha? Like, are these things already in the works to be addressed? And probably looking at the timeline and hopefully having a proper conversation like how realistic it is to cover the to-do list in the release window. That's what you'd hope, right?
I have plenty to say.
And it's not like people going, oh, no, we're way further along. We've got it all covered. Like, don't worry about it. We haven't messed up. We're on board.
I think it gives me like dad shows up at your dorm room vibes where it's like they trust you to do your thing and to be responsible, but then eventually there comes a time where if you're not playing your cards right, dad's going to show up in your dorm room and be like, listen, we need to have a heart to heart. And I think Sony's done that before with Bungie, where they've shown up at the studio. They've had their people show up and they're like, you need to show us what's going on here. And I think that's a very realistic possibility when it comes to how they're handling Marathon, I think that they may have to be more hands-on, like you're talking about, Briar. I think Daddy might be upset, and he needs to show up and have you show me exactly where we're at and where we're going.
So was your question, what would you do if you were Bob Sony?
Yeah. What
Not
would you
Bob
do?
Bungie.
No,
So,
Bob
you know,
Sony.
what I think is interesting about this is it may in fact be Sony and just that corporate pressure that has led to this. Because like what I've seen so far looks like they've been making this game for a while. And look around you and see how many games have been being made for a while. And they're getting canned. No matter how big. Black Panther just got canned. The Cliffhanger Studios is down. Wonder Woman down. Any number of pretty big games just getting pulled. This is not uncommon when people spend a lot of time with tons of like really talented folks. So all I'm suggesting is speculatively, I do think at the top level, and Bob Sony has already said, we need you to release it this year. Maybe he's going through Bob Bungie, who is Pete. But going through Pete Parsons, it needs to come out. Like make it happen. So what I'm seeing is it looks like they're like, let's do all the cool trailers. Let's get them in and have the marketing event. Like we do feel good about our game, but they're being pushed when they probably, the whole team, I bet, said, we need another year. We need it. I know you don't want to hear it. And they're like, it's too bad. So I think that's what's happening is that Bob Sony already came in and has said this. And so now you're in a situation that like, look, that's the first domino to fall. And they're probably right because I think they're looking at this like, if we give you another year, like they're looking at all this cancel stuff that's not going to, turn a profit anyway. So they're like, just pull the ripcord. I think it's a situation we find ourselves in. But
it's scary. I think it's arguably like
because of what we've seen.
The standout feature of this game was the art style.
Yeah. Well, and it still is. Like, let's be fair. They did not steal the entire art style. I think you need some real art students in here.
I prefer not to be fair.
Artist that has not been named, that has not worked at the company, I think, since 20 or 21. Put this on, a texture decal sheet, and sure, that stuff ended up in there. A lot of people have been talking about how Wipeout had started some of this. I forget if it's what that style was called back then, whether it was brutalism or graphic realism.
The art style is not a unique art style.
Yeah, no, it's look around.
Right.
There's tons of stuff, but now because they did such a good job with it, it's being boiled down to like, well, they stole the whole thing. And anyway, I just think it's important to reiterate that's not what happened. Somebody stole somebody's art that no longer works. That artist doesn't work there. But yeah, it's a huge stain. And I think that's what they're faced with. How do you bring out your pre-order trailer when everybody's calling it Art Raiders? I don't know. Did you hear this, Briar?
Oh yeah.
You heard this?
You heard that?
It's
not
disaster,
good.
dude.
That's not good.
No, and that name's gonna stick. Yeah.
That is funny though.
I feel really bad for the mini talented, but it's funny. Give it up for that one,
Yeah, that was a good
And
one.
then did you see during the live stream that their live stream was getting bombed with plagiarism? No, what was it? Yeah,
Will make me God.
it was plagiarism will make me God, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was spammed in it. So that's what they're reeling from. So honestly, my short pitch, and this it goes into the conversation that what I was bringing up before. I'm not trying to tell you what will be successful. That's not why I play games. Arguably, you need a big audience to play a PvP game. But putting that aside, I'm more on I love early access games. I think they would never do this, but just say, hey, early access comes out. We want to work with you guys. We have some excited folks. Look at how many people want to get in the Discord. It's an early access game from Sony's live service.
Would you charge $40 to get into the early access?
Yeah, $35-$40. Yeah, and same thing for them.
I think that's a good idea.
But call a spade, and let's work together if we truly believe in what. And if it fails, then it's like the audience knew what they were signing up for at least.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to fool them with this is the next quadruple A from Bungie, the creator of Halo, and you're like, that's not what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's a great idea because it does set the expectation differently. It involves the community into thinking we're building something as opposed to you released something that wasn't finished.
I wish AAA companies are terrified, I think, of how do you get to the Elden Ring 30 million sold when you take the air out with early access. And I don't know other than Baldur's Gate, I don't know how many examples there are, but I think people are terrified of the idea that you would market something as a value right? And
Yeah.
then try to like be like, now it's really out. So I don't think we'll ever see it, but I think yeah, it's a damn shame. Because like think of the Last of Us live service game multiplayer had come out as early access too. I think it would have done pretty well under that.
You think so?
But I don't know how much it would have cost to support though, you know, and that's the issue here is you can still do all of what I'm saying, but if they're like burning through 300 employees a year supporting this,
Yeah.
you need to sell a bunch.
I know people are still mad about that Last of Us 2 thing.
Dude, I wanted to play it so bad.
People love the first one, the first multiplayer.
Yeah. And this was an evolution.
played a lot of
And
it.
you know what's sorry, go ahead, Myelin.
I would say I played a lot of the Last of Us multiplayer. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
But
I
I
made some like Destiny friends in there before Destiny was around.
I'm laughing and reacting because you forget maybe, but the story was also that Bungie, the live service expert,
Killed it,
looked
yeah.
at this. Well, but it turned into they killed it when they obviously just provided like, you know, a high up like, hey, like we know what we're doing with Destiny, but they're getting blamed for all of that. It's such a mess. Oh man.
The reason they ended up stopping it is because they said that they basically realized what it takes to have a live service game and keep up with a live service game. And they're like, oh, that will be our studio. There will be no
all- yeah.
more single player games.
That was the only thing, and I think every player gets that, but at the same time, you had to react. You're like, how did you arrive at the finish line almost, and then you realize that's what you were making?
I don't know.
That part that doesn't pass muster. It doesn't like no, something else was going on there too. I mean, probably just budgets for intergalactic.
Well, maybe Bungie went in and said,
cetera.
"Don't do this.
What?
You will ruin your lives and your studio." And they're like,
It's that Billy
Everybody will
Madison,
hate you.
Stay here. Stay as long as you can.
Yeah, maybe
the
that was
$1
it.
billion advice: don't do it.
"Don't
They actually,
do
they're
it."
like, wait until you see what happens next year. Us. Oh man, what a mess.
Yep.
What
should
else
maybe-
has happened?
Well, there's nothing to cover, but people
Yes, there
played
is.
Edge of Fate. I just would note next week, I think we're going to hear about Edge of Fate was previewed by some creators like Datto and others. So
Oh, was it? I
it's
didn't know
exciting. TV, did you? No,
Nope.
not you. Okay.
Nope, not me.
But next week we'll learn more, I guess.
that.
We got new Marvel Rivals stuff content dropping tomorrow.
Right.
So they'll have a
Yep.
new character, Ultron. They'll be their first flying healer. New map, new convoy map. Looks pretty cool.
How much
Bunch of hero
do the
adjustments.
characters in that game, like how much do their in-game abilities relate to like their kind of their fictional personas?
Oh, they do a pretty good job with that. There's some minor complaints, but for the most part, they've done a really good. And I liked it that I mean, Ultron aside, they do a really good job of finding obscure characters and bringing them to the forefront, and that actually helps with expectations because sure they've got Captain America in there and they've got Wolverine in there, but they also have like an obscure X-Man's little sister in there, right? They've got Colossus's little sister, Magic, who most people have never even heard of, but she's an incredibly cool duelist. But that also takes pressure off of them to sort of like match expectations from what you've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe on the big screen, because that character's not there. You know what I mean? So they get to have a little bit more creative freedom. But I think they've done a pretty good job with that. Yeah.
Nice.
There was a pretty substantial Monster Hunter update that hit.
Heard that you were punching people with a Kuma.
Yes. It's
Oh, that's right.
crazy. So, first of all, the update is a Capcom collab between Monster Hunter Wilds and Street Fighter 6. Normally these kind of things, you do a little event, maybe you get some skins and stuff. This one, it starts off with you like finding carcasses. And you're like, okay, so there's a fully voice lined of like villages and your character and the handler, like everything's fully voiced. And then you find people are like, he's just been going up to monsters and killing him with his bare fists. You're like, okay. And then, so you find these carcasses and you're like, that's weird. They've got punch marks on them instead of weapon marks. And then you go to this other area and you can hear Akuma just making noises somewhere. You come across him and there's these whole voice lines with Akuma of him saying, Why do we need to be in harmony with the beast? Just kill him. And it's
Seems
actually
fair.
it's done really well. It was actually really funny. Like that whole quest line was really, really funny. And then it ends up with you doing an arena quest against a Jarkon, which is the ape-like creature.
Uh-huh.
And you are Akuma. So you look like Akuma. Your full armor is you are him. And it's playing his Street Fighter 6 music when you're fighting a Jarkon. And you have 3 moves on your hotbar. So one of them is in your slinger ammo, you get a Hadouken. So you can shoot Hadoukens, you can charge it up and shoot the Hadouken. The other one is Akuma's drive impact. So you can use his drive impact as an offset. So when the monster's about to hit you, you hit the button and it does a big clash attack that happens. It's also how you destroy wounds, and it does his whole animation that he has in Street Fighter 6 of when he does
Which
his
is
big
what?
drive impact move. Lots of fists flying at the monster, and then he turns around and you see his back, and it's got like the Akuma
Yeah, so
Right.
sick.
sign on his back.
When you said drive impact, I thought he gives him a bear hug. You know, does like the whole and like slams him into the ground.
Well, drive impact is it's a thing in Street Fighter where you build up your drive impact
Oh,
bar,
it's like
and
like
then
a
you can
super or
use the
something.
special moves. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, and you
right,
do that
right.
in Monster Hunter. You build up your drive impact bar, so you can
And
use
then
the drive
finish him off.
impact.
Yeah, nice.
So that's how you pop wounds and use an offset. But then you have another thing, which is it's called assisted combo Akuma, and you are doing Street Fighter moves in Monster Hunter to use a lot of Akuma's moveset. So you've got square, 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 triangle, 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 circle, circle, circle. You've got your little half circles that you're doing to do some shoryukens. You've got, it's like everything. It's like his whole moveset. So you can actually hunt all the monsters in the game as Akuma.
You might have just
It's
sold
like
How do
me
you do a
Monster Hunter.
Zane Briar's like, oh.
Interesting.
how do you do half circles in a 3D environment?
It's like if you play a 3D fighter, so you just have to think of like forward is always forward.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Forward is always forward, no matter where your character is facing. Yeah. So I'm sitting here, so I put out a tweet of my character's face being like, when I'm like me trying to do forward, forward, down, forward, square while a monster beats my ass. It's really, really fun. I did a couple hunts today where it was just 4 Akumas punching monsters to death, and it was hilarious.
I love it.
It's really
Can I
good.
use this?
Does it break your
Maybe.
immersion?
Does it work on PlayStation or Steam? Sure, I'll
That'd be
load it.
awesome.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, there you go. Immersion for Monster Hunter, I don't think so. Monster Hunter has always done silly collabs with
Real
their
whimsical
properties, and it is kind of that game, right? You've got like cooking cats and
Yeah, cooking palico. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
all kind of whimsical. There's also an outfit for your Palico, which is Blanca-chan. little-
Blanca's my
Oh
favorite.
yeah.
Little gremlin Blanca.
Oh, I'd love to
And
see
when
him
you do
add Blanca as a monster to hunt.
That would be
Hunting
awesome.
Blanca.
Yeah. I think that's why they chose a Jarkon, because he's like kind of like Blanca. He's kind of like Akuma. He's kind of
Oh,
close.
okay. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. So, and then there's like some outfits for Alma. You can make her Chun-Li or Cammy.
Cammy. Yeah, I saw the Cammy one.
Damn it.
Saw the Cammy one. Yeah.
Always a good choice.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
And there's even like
Oh.
Now we have Briar's attention.
the game
Like, Brian
also.
gets 100 hours of Monster Hunter in like a week or something.
You're like, wow, he's going crazy.
Just
They've also
beating up
just,
monsters.
just little small details, like if you're not wearing the Akuma outfit and you use some of the emotes that they give you, it uses Ryu's voice for all of the moves. There's 3 moves that they give you in gestures, and your Palico doesn't do the gesture. But if you're wearing the full Akuma outfit and your Palico is wearing the Blanca outfit, you use Akuma's voice when you do all of the gestures, and your Palico does Blanca's moves while
That's
you're doing
fun.
the gestures. So he's like lighting it up with electricity on the
Yeah.
floor. 'Cause
Do you see skeleton?
I don't know if you see a skeleton.
Because
No.
that would be wicked if you
That
sort of
would.
like
That'd be
got
pretty
the
fun.
X-ray vision.
It's just everyone's just like, man, This is a next level. It's like having
It's
an
not
15th
half-assing it,
weapon.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like having a whole new weapon because it's
Wow,
actually
it's like
viable to
Collab.
hunt monsters with, which is normally not the case. Normally, you'll get an emote that can do some attack damage, but it's like 8 damage to a monster.
Right.
So some people
Yeah,
would do
right.
like fun hunts where they try to kill a monster with a Hadoken at the end or something. But this is you can actually do the full thing with Akuma. Yeah, they're very fun.
Talk
I want a
about-
raging demon that ass.
You do. You can.
Talking about DLC, I played the Division 2's DLC that they
Oh.
put out.
I can't
Battle
believe
for Brooklyn.
I can't believe that game's getting DLC still. I had no
So
idea.
Well,
happy.
this is the first DLC since 2020. So
What?
Ooh,
it's
5 years.
Yeah, Warlords of New York
Wow.
was the
Yep.
first DLC, and now this is like kind of a
Yeah, so it's kind of been on I don't know, caretaker mode, skeleton crew. I don't know. I don't know exactly how many people have been working on it, but like this has been the first DLC in a long time. They've had like season pass stuff come out, but this is the first like major bit of content, I guess, like a new area, new skills, which are like your abilities that you can use in Division 2, and new like story campaign quests.
yeah. So you went.
I
from,
did rage
like,
quit. I actually rage quit on
What?
it, and I said,
What?
"Fuck Division 2." So
You could have said you just went from you just started trying the Division 2, and I was like, oh, just get ready and then just hop into Battle for Brooklyn was the advice last week, and you tell me you rage quit.
Division 2 is, I don't know if does anyone actually play Division 2 apart from Fran?
Yeah, I played
I've
a bunch of it when
played
it
it.
came out.
I
I played
haven't
a bunch of it.
See, I haven't in a while, but I did go real hard on it at launch. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it is an interesting game. It has one of the best looking urban environments I think in any game. I every time I go in there, I'm like, man, these environments look so good, and like they look good for a cover shooter too, because often like, environmental design with cover shooters, like, oh, that's a box I should hide behind. You know what I mean? Like they're really good at the environmental design for a cover shooter. It all looks like it should be there, and it's a nice, post-apocalyptic area. Blah, blah, blah. That's great. Cover shooting is great. The lore surrounding and the tech, like, you've got high-tech gadgets, but there's no space magic, so to speak. So it's, it's great for that theme. It does that really well.
Uh-huh.
But I think like it is such a it is an ARPG dressed up as a, cover shooter. And I think you kind of need to play it like that, where you really got to min-max stats. And it's kind of weird to have not a bad way, but it's weird. Like it's hard for my brain to get around playing a cover shooter, but treating it like Diablo 4. Do you know?
Yeah.
Because like you get to content, you're like, no, I can just brute force this. Like if I'm good enough at getting to cover, I can
It's
get
a
through this. But the
nope.
game just kind of says, no, you
shredded.
don't have that.
Yeah.
You don't have the
Yeah.
armor stats. You don't have the DPS. You don't have the stats to do this. And that's when I rage quit, because I went from heroic and then I dropped it down to challenging and then I dropped it down to hard. And then the next one was like basically easy mode. I was like, no, I'm out. It probably shouldn't have been that way. But I think that's kind of like, I needed to just accept that I didn't have the right gear and the stats to deal with this DLC. And this DLC is harder, I think, than previous ones. They do a lot of things in it where, I don't know if you remember the first division when you had the cleaners, the guys with like the fire kits and the shields and the axes. So like you're just constantly being pushed out of cover. And like the DLC kind of that theme is like nowhere safe, which felt really odd for like a cover shooter. It's like, and because I didn't have very good gear, I was just getting absolutely smashed on like every level. Just getting pushed out, getting rushed, getting missiled. And doesn't mean it's a bad DLC, because I saw reviews of it, people who are longtime fans who've been playing for the last 5 years, like, I just blitzed the DLC, no problem. And I kind of probably put it in the category of like the Elden Ring Erdtree. You know how like I didn't like Elden Ring Erdtree because I didn't play a lot of Elden Ring. I didn't feel like I had the tools to deal with the DLC, and the DLC was quite a bit harder, right?
Oh,
And I
yeah,
kind of
you
felt like
rage quit
almost
that
the
too.
same with Division 2, which was like, I don't have the builds for this yet. I don't have like the right gear for this yet. I needed to play on story mode until I build up some more stats and more gear, and then punch through it.
But just for clarity, normally you wouldn't play on challenging necessarily. You could if you wanted. It's the one right below it, and in other words, the
So-
one below challenge, whatever normal was, not easy. I don't even remember the heavy, but like,
hard,
did they?
hard.
It's hard. Well,
So
then
I
even the
so
one
so
before. But like, you're telling me it was
I
not like just reasonably balanced. There was nothing in between that, or you just by then were.
so I could have dropped down to story and probably completed it. It was significantly harder at those levels just because of the enemies it was throwing at you. So like, for example, nearly every like area you'd get behind cover and there'd be like a turret on one side that you had to disable, and then the enemies would spawn
Yeah.
on your side of cover. So like if you couldn't like DPS those enemies and deal with them quickly, you
Yeah.
were just like jumping out of cover, then getting shot by a turret, and then like kind of going down. Which isn't bad. Like it's just it was a pretty like, for someone who's only been playing for 5 days, it was a pretty rough like DPS check. And I think for the rest of the game, like I was at the level of challenging. Like I could do challenging content
That's
with my
pretty
current
high,
build. And hard was kind of like a walkthrough on like previous like areas in the game and like DLC. Like I could do that, but on the DLC itself, just because of the way the encounters were, like I couldn't do it.
Were you playing solo?
Which is fine.
or,
Like I also was running solo too. So like
which is a common thing that I brought that up last week, and I wondered how it's changed. But if you aren't on a team,
I
sometimes suddenly it's like, oh, we
yeah,
should
we
match
kind of
make.
did talk about that because there are a fair few mechanics that would have been a lot easier in a team. Like one of the bosses is just on you like the whole time, and you have to like press buttons and activate laptops and stuff, and she basically one shots
Those
you. So
monsters, they make you press buttons.
Huh.
yeah,
In
yeah.
my
I
video
want to
games.
check it out.
So I'll be interested to see how
kid,
you
though.
go. And please don't take this as like me, because every time I play Division, there's like a very dedicated community that like love it. And honestly, I at the moment I do have a love-hate relationship with. There's so many parts of it that I think are really fantastic and really good. And right now it's on sale on Steam for like $5. It's on Game
Oh
Pass
wow.
now as well. So if you got Game Pass, you can pick up and play it. I do recommend playing with it, but I think you do have to treat it like Diablo 4 or PoE 2 and be like, if you go into high level content, the mobs are just going to one shot you. You're like, okay, I'm not ready. I got to go back. I got to go grind. I got to go get my stats up. Then I got to come back in. So,
Exactly.
and it's my brain has a hard time doing that when it's a cover shooter because you kind of feel like it's more skill and autonomy involved because you're
Sure.
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
stuff, right? You're not just
Yeah.
like left clicking. So
Yeah, normally like normal mode should be fine. My general advice for Division has always been like play it solo, and if you're enjoying that, like I like to play solo, but unfortunately because of the way it's built and the scaling, and I don't know how they've changed it in the many years now, but eventually you hit a point where you're like, oh, this is clearly multiplayer. It's okay. I'm gonna just hit the matchmaking and replay this in a
Yeah.
group. And if
Yeah.
matchmaking works, it becomes more fun because like you actually don't really need to talk to each other unless
Oh,
you're doing
really?
raids. The raids, yeah,
Huh.
but like you're fine. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm having fun because like it's mini games, at least I've experienced. You can just
Yeah.
tell when it's made for multiplayer.
Yeah.
And
They've
Right.
this
built on
one
that.
just suffers
Yeah.
from it usually. It sounds like maybe could be that.
Yeah. There was a lot of the encounters like in the DLC, you're kind of pinned down. So like one of them, you got to activate a laptop and then you have to stay in that area. And like one side of the map is you've pinned down by like a missile launcher. And the other side of the map has all the ads spawning. So it's like it is actually like pretty tough to like juggle it all solo. Unless you've been playing for the last 5 years and you got mega juiced kits and you're like, I watch another stream, the dude's one tapping literally every enemy with headshots like a firefly perk and everyone's exploding. And I was like, okay, and then I look at that, I'm like, okay, that looks pretty cool. That looks fun. How do I do that?
Did they reset levels at all for Battle for Brooklyn? Like from was it 40 something, or like did you have to like grind new levels in Battle for Brooklyn?
No, you
or-
don't have to grind any more
Oh.
levels. They reset like I think it's there's like a battle pass. Oh, is it a battle pass?
Yeah, there
I'm not too
usually
sure.
is like
There's like a
little
battle
faction
pass, but
pass.
they have like
The season
global
pass
modifiers which they put on, which you can activate, and it's kind of like putting on Nightfall modifiers for everything. And they're kind of interesting. So like they'll mark enemies, and all of this is actually like took me a long. I actually got really shitty about this because some of the descriptions in Division 2, if you haven't played before, like are very tough to like read through and work out what exactly is going on. But like essentially, enemies had like these symbols marked on them, and that would actually give you like they added new attributes that would buff it. So one of them was just like a flat crit chance, like additional crit chance. So if an enemy had like a red symbol and you kept clicking heads on the guys with the red symbols, you actually buff up your crit chance, and then you could then link it with almost like artifact stuff in Destiny. It's almost like, yeah, it's pretty much like an artifact system in Destiny, where then you like have an active ability, like, oh, when I've got, level 4, my crit chance from shooting the red dudes, I press a button and that's going to give me like double crit chance. So yeah, it's pretty much like an artifact system mixed with like
Seasonal
Nightfall
perks
modifiers. Yeah, which changes your play style, makes certain builds more viable or less viable. Very similar to
that was,
Destiny,
like-
where you might now invest in something different because you've got these like artifact modifiers on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought that was like weekly tied to like the challenging stuff, but I don't know. I haven't played it in so long. Sounds different to me.
Yeah. So there you go.
Not for you.
I
You're out.
no, but here's the thing, right?
What do they say when you
I
die
like-
in a game? Agent down. What is it?
I don't know.
Myelin
But I quit,
down.
but I'm still thinking about it. So maybe there's something there. Like
Mm.
I was like, I ended the end screen. I was like, fuck this game, fuck the difficulty. Why would I play with like this? I have to be in a group. I don't have the gear. And then I like back to the tree. I'm like, I kind of want to level up my gear now so I can complete it.
Yeah, try some matchmaking next time, maybe. On normal though. Like I would normal until you hit a wall. Just for like the story, because that's normally how these go. Is like there's just like the story stuff, which is meant to be kind of you can make it insanely difficult, but I've always found the balance in the game. You need a team. If you're not on a
Here's
team,
the thing, right?
just play it on normal until you get into like the world.
Yeah. Apparently, this was like, I don't know if the first DLC or like one of the new changes they made to the DLC is that you can choose the level straight away. You don't need to play on like story mode, which is like easy mode. And then I bet you someone from Ubisoft was watching me stream like, this is why we don't let players choose the
Yeah.
difficulty level on the first run
'Cause they quit.
because they quit because they think they can do it and they can't.
Uh,
It's okay. You can play
Anywho, Division
Nightreign
2.
for a bit.
yeah,
Yeah,
you've
I'm
got
gonna
your
play a
hands
lot of
full
Nightreign.
there.
Bit of fun time. Bit of fun
Yeah,
times.
just wait till next weekend when they shadow drop Arc Raiders, you know?
Oh,
No,
I'm
I don't know.
hanging out
Summer Games
so
Fest is
bad.
next week. I don't know that that's gonna,
Maybe.
but
I just
What-
love
what
the
was
idea
that
of
mode?
Myelin being like, I'm rage quitting this game. It's too hard. I'm gonna go back to Elden Ring.
yeah, which he also had rage quit Shadow.
Yeah.
The Erdtree.
True.
I think the first one you rage quit Elden Ring, then went back to it, right?
He was bullied into going.
I don't
back
know
to
if
it.
I rage quit Eldring the first
Who could have
time.
possibly
There-
bullied anybody about Elden Ring?
He rage
Mm.
quit Sekiro.
Sekiro. I
really?
did
You
get
rage
up
quit
on,
Yeah.
Sekiro?
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
yeah, I
mhm.
can
Okay,
remember
I'm
that
seeing
one.
a pattern here.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, it's fine. Maybe just
It's
quit and
fine.
don't rage quit. Just regular quit.
The regular quit, that's not in my vocabulary.
What
No.
if you could quiet quit? You could quiet quit, where you just you play a little bit less every time you turn it on and then it's gone.
Or
There's
just
no
like
quiet
just
quitting
on
anymore.
stream, just silently click the uninstall button.
You have to tweet every time you quit something. That's the rule.
You should. You should.
True,
That'd be
let
fun.
them know.
What,
be
what
fair-
was that mode in Destiny 1 that came out where it was like ice cold and you had to like run to keep from freezing to get inside and you'd gear up just in that mode? What was that called?
Was it in Destiny 1?
No, not Destiny 1.
Destiny?
Division
I was like,
1.
what the heck?
I
I was
was
like, what are you
like-
talking about, bro?
Oh, okay. I was about to say, is this
In-
a survival mode? Because every
Yeah.
time I play Division,
Survival.
Which
people
game?
they talk about Division 1 survival mode.
Yeah. What was that called
that
though? It
was
had
that.
was it just called survival mode?
I think it's called
People-
survival.
I think it was called Survival.
That was
Yeah, it says
a
survival.
sick game mode.
That's
And
what
I'm gonna
everybody
try to go
says.
play it. I'm gonna see if it's still playable. I
Very
want to
good.
try it because
Yeah.
like
Because you start
Every
from
single
scratch
person-
every game.
They
and
need to
then-
just yeah.
I think every time I play Division 2, there will 100% be someone that says, "Oh, how good was survival Division 1?" I was like, I'd never actually played that. Another thing is people will say like Division kind of invented the extraction shooters and was sitting on it and never did anything with it. Like
Yeah.
they were there at the beginning, almost before the trend, before even the genre would call it an extraction shooter, with Dark Zone in Division
Yeah.
1, and then potentially had something like Survival sitting there too. And you're
They
like,
had survival.
man, they
yeah.
kind of slept on a couple of game modes that they
Yeah.
should have had a lot of success with.
Yeah. I was surprised
Maybe.
that they didn't bring that to Division 2 because it was wildly popular too. Like,
Seems like it, yeah.
Well, it's weird because I think it was maybe I'm looking at footage. It looks like it was born out of Dark Zone, right?
Yeah.
But
it was
it's
an
a
additional game
so-
mode where
solo
you
PVE.
you entered with nothing, right? You'd walk in
Yeah.
and you'd have
Well,
To
nothing.
collect everything.
And you have to start looting from the beginning. And the hook was like everybody's your enemy. And it's so cold outside that you'll freeze to death if you stay outside for long. So you have to like run to different like warm spots and build
Yeah.
up like gear that's
That's cool.
warm enough for you to stay outside. It's
Well, they're
very
making
good.
Division 3, so they've got their marching orders on this one. I think between like, you know, Arc Raiders success, Extraction Shooter success, but they were some of the first. I hope they get all of this right in Division 3.
Because
but-
every time I play Division, I just think, man, I kind of wish this was survival or like DayZ-esque or just something like that, because the environments are so good. Like I do kind of want to just, scurry around and loot and meet other players and fight off, enemies. Like I kind of want to be even more immersed into the like Division world rather than like, selecting a mission from a overworld map screen kind of deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
think they have
it's funny.
something there. Sorry, Fran, go ahead.
No. Yeah, it was exactly the same comment, and I got to thinking about how much I liked some of those survival gunplay cover shooter elements from Last of Us. And I was like, man, if you could, meet some of that vibe in the world, like you said, Myelin, like it's such a cool world. I'm hoping Division
Such a
3.
fluid world too. Like
Yeah.
every time you play, and you're like, you jump over like a half wall and stuff, like the animations and like the running between covers, and like it's such a slick game that always makes you feel like a badass too. Like the gear you're holding, like the little gadgets you throw out, the drones are going, like it always looks epic. And I always kind of just want there a little bit more as well.
Yeah. They
No,
really did
it's-
a good job with the shooting mechanics, I felt like, into where they really improved like the gunplay and the gun feel. And it made it
There's
a
definitely
lot of
a
fun
lot-
just shooting shit,
I think the big difference in Division 2 and my memory of Division 1 is there's a lot less bullet sponginess, and the bullet sponginess ends up coming in later if you're just like underbuilt. You don't have really a build
Yep.
going.
Yeah.
But if you're like keeping at level with the difficulty you're doing, it's not like my memory of Division 1, which is like putting 10 rounds of LMG into like some dude wearing a big helmet.
Yeah.
You know, like-
Division 2 seems to rely more on like map design and encounter design and mechanics than just having bullet sponges thrown at you.
Yeah.
Like what you were talking about earlier, actually, where you're like, I went into the DLC, I felt like I needed somebody else there because the thing I had to interact with was in clear line of sight of the enemy spawn, and I needed to juggle different things. It's those kinds of things. So I feel like they kind of, maybe that's one way that they sort of grew up as developers of the game. So it'd be interesting to see what they come up with for Division 3. The Division 2 has had a pretty solid core
it has.
community for a
They
long
must.
time
Actually,
now.
for
Well,
5
it's
years
pretty
later,
s-
they do a DLC. They must have a good community.
It's
Yeah.
pretty similar to Destiny,
incredible.
right? Like if you look at Twitch numbers, if you look at like content creators on YouTube and what kind of views they pull on like a build guide and stuff, like I think it's pretty comparable to Destiny's community, with people sticking around. So
yeah.
Yeah, it went as I recall, like when the DLC of Warlord came out, people wanted more, and then they finally got into the idea they needed to support it with some kind of seasonal stuff, and then it became like such a long hook for people that what they did, they started replaying seasons. They would like you would go back through
Oh,
like
interesting.
you'd go back around the
The
make another
seasonal loop
lap.
of sorts, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were filling that time, and then they started to have some new content. And so anyway, yeah, they've really stretched it out, but I've been happy it made it this far. So that's why I was excited about the DLC. So I hope for people who like Division, that it might be good. I mean,
And
I get why
let
it's
me tell
frustrating you
you,
though.
let me tell you about one of I think Division 2 has one of the best crafting systems. And I hadn't really played it before, and it is very nice, and I'll tell you about it. So there has like a library system
Yeah.
where when you have a weapon or armor piece drop, you can remove a stat from it and bank it in your library, and you've then got it forever, and you can put it onto other gear. And when you have a piece of gear drop, there is, I guess, potentially 4 like stats you can be looking at. It has like a core attribute. You have 2 other attributes, so the non-core attributes, and
Yeah,
then you
like
have like a
range or-
talent, which is like, get after your 10th headshot, the dude that turns into a worm, right? So you've got, and so you get something drop, and it might be a max roll crit chance on your normal attribute. You're like, oh great, it destroys the weapon, but you end up banking that 15% crit chance into your library. And so
Yeah.
the game becomes a lot about still the loot, still getting the loot, and then extracting the max rolled, components. And you got to do it for everything. So like it's shotguns, rifles, assault rifles, sidearms, masks, body armor. Like every piece of gear is basically going to have multiple stat rolls that you're chasing. And so you go farm them and you bank them. And that's kind of like the beginning of making a build is you get like a gear set, and then you want to have, when you put rolls onto a bit of gear, you can only change one attribute. So it doesn't give you full control of just crafting a god piece. You got to get a gear that's got, 3 out of 4, and then the shitty stat you're going to rip off and you're going to put on one of your max stats. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah, you
really
still need a good
meets you
roll.
halfway with crafting. You still got to
Yes.
farm good rolls. You
Yeah.
still got to farm
But doesn't
the
have to
stats
be
you want to extract.
a god roll necessarily.
Yeah, it could be close enough that you can maybe make it a gold roll kind of deal. And then that's where the real min-maxing comes into it. And I think it's probably the best like crafting I've seen that hasn't undermined the whole chase of getting loot and like being excited about something popping up and that's got a good roll on it or something.
Yeah.
So,
And it helps solve loot problems, which is like, one of my biggest complaints.
And
So whenever they launch it, it was like, oh, I'm just going to get rid of it and I don't feel like I wasted my time. I got my max crit. At least I got that. And if I really want it, I can farm it later.
Yeah. It's actually really easy to look through your library because then you just start looking at stat rolls. You're like, okay, like as long as this gun doesn't have max stats on everything, I'm just going to extract the best stat from it and I'm done. And then it goes in my library and then I know I can use it later when I need to.
Yeah, it's such a good system because like even if you don't get the god roll or aren't hunting it, you might be like, you know what, I do want to use an assault rifle right now or marksman or whatever. And then you're like, oh, let me see what stat I might at least want one good stat of. So yeah, you can make like a half good gun despite not having saved everything in your loot pile. So yeah, they have, I don't know what else they've added since then, but man, when they added that was like, I kept saying, I'm like, please, Destiny, you have to do something like this. Like, just let me save Snapshot on IS Luna. So like 4 years from now, I don't have like 6 IS Lunas sitting, and all I want to find is that one other stat, and then I can put it together.
But
like, would that be
I think
so
that's
bad?
like the real big difference between something like Destiny and this. You can see how this leans much more towards the Diablo and PoE, where it's like I'm getting like percentage increase in like a stat rather than Destiny, which would be like a perk that you want a certain combination of perks working. Rather, So but I think it's I think it's great. I think it's a really good system, and I think if you understand that, like it's a fun game to grind and do content. They've got an incredibly good targeted loot system too, where you basically can just make activities give you the loot that you want, and it opens up a menu and you're like, I want this gear from this gear set, and then it just increases the chances of that dropping, and you just play that content, and then it drops for you, and it's highlighted as the thing you've targeted. You pick it up, see if it's the role you want, put in your backpack.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's funny. Division finds itself in the place that Destiny's not, which is like they're extending it, still. Like, granted, not as much production stuff as Destiny, but Division 3 is on the way. People know it. So they can kind of extend into this.
Right.
Presumably, how many years out Division 3 is, I don't know. But That's a good place for them to be. They can keep it going that long, you know?
Sometimes it's
No
almost
doubt.
like when people aren't watching, it's funny when people aren't watching, developers seem to do their better work, right? When there's not that like pressure and the eyes and everyone telling you, nah, do this, nah, do
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
nah, do this, nah, do that. It's like, yeah, you just kind of left them
Just let
alone. They've
'em
been
cook.
Yeah.
been cooking over there.
Just let
So
the people who do it as a job do their job.
Yeah. Plus, you get
pretty
feedback from
much.
people who really enjoy the game and play it a lot. you
True,
know?
yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
downsides to that too, but overall, that's good. It's like these people really get the game versus people who just are like me and just play it for an hour and complain about it, you know?
Someone in chat just asked, can they get back into it? Like, is there fear of missing out? No, there's not. They have like legacy missions. So if what happens with like a season is they have like like Destiny, like an 8-week long season, and it ends in like a mini boss. There's a bit of story leading up to it, but they just basically put them as legacy missions. And rather than having to play eight weeks, if you miss that season, you actually just play the final mission. So it's like doing the final mission in an episode of Destiny, and you just do that and you get the reward from it, and then you move on. So there's some legacy stuff in there if you want to jump back into Division, that you can get it, and you haven't really missed out on anything. There's no like sunsetting, like you can still access everything. I think you just work out what you want to go for and target your loot, and you're like, away you go.
I
Yeah,
want to hear.
for someone who quit Division 2, I'm doing a lot of selling over here.
That's right.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
he's
Myelin, you
out
seem real excited.
I hate this
Real
game. You guys
excited.
gotta play it. They
I
do all
fucking
this
hate
great
this
stuff.
Fran started playing Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to
Ooh.
hear, you know, some stuff, some thoughts.
Too hard,
Finally,
isn't it, Fran? It's too hard.
finally, he got into it.
It's too early for me to say, even though I've played it for a good, I don't know, 12 hours or more maybe.
Oh, dang.
But I am in New Game Plus, which I don't know how that factors given the scaling.
It's not
and-
much. So I played it in New Game Plus as well. The biggest thing is just the scatter tree fragments. That is the only thing that matters when it comes to DLC scaling.
Okay, so whether I
Um,
had entered it at level 150 or 250, you're saying you don't think that matters in
I
terms
don't
of
think
my,
I don't think so.
so
No.
to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that sense, but the reason I bring it up is it sure feels like I need to use like +9 level and above weapons. And that's fine, actually. I just realized, I was like, oh yeah, all the 400 hours of grinding I did, I can go back and buy a bunch of smithing stones, etc. So maybe per Myelin's saying, I can say, boy, yeah, it hits hard. And if I try to use any of the fresh weapon drops and stuff that it drops, I will get destroyed. Even
How
having
many
a couple,
scatter tree fragments?
even
do you
having a
have?
few scat 3 or 4. But even early on, the point is that's like dropping something, and you're with those weapons, they're so weak. It's like taking like 14 hits for like a base enemy. But that's why I was like, I don't know if that's New Game Plus but I just remembered I can actually go and just use a bunch of runes and level the weapon up, which will solve some of this. So, but there is that going on. Feels weird. I don't know how that is for most people, like I said, outside of New Game Plus or otherwise. Putting that aside, I mean, it just feels like such a great expansion because you go into it and you're like, holy cow, it just looks incredible. It sounds incredible, you know? And so I feel I'm like right back into it. To me, so far, though, it feels like more Elden Ring. And that is a good thing after playing 400 hours. I'm like, oh, there's new land to explore. It's all the same stuff that I've come to expect. And it feels substantial. But like, I don't have an impression outside of that of like, oh, wow, like they really did this or that. It's like, oh, this is a fencing dexterity type weapon, and here's another mace that I can use that has fire on it. I'm like, okay. But that's where I was a little caught up, like I said, at first. I want to use new stuff, but I felt penalized that I need to level those weapons up so they don't feel
Yeah.
like trash. But it seems beautiful so far. It seems substantial. I'm curious how big it is. That's my big question at this point.
Big.
Big, yeah. I'm in for it.
Pretty big.
I've
No.
only, I did like one, I assume, like mini boss within a castle. So I beat, it's this lion boss, and you go up and it does the same thing where like the thorns, this time it's like shadowy tree branches blocking a doorway, and it's like, well, I guess I can't go through there yet. I wonder what's in there, and you're just exploring everywhere. And I got trapped in a catacomb last night, and I will say, yeah, it's definitely harder. Like the catacomb, this is the first one I hit, and I'd hit a side boss too. All of them were like, they're crazy. The aggro, it's like everything's turned up to like 12.
Yeah.
So I get the sense they were not pulling any punches.
Yeah. There's some, I think my favorite bosses are in the DLC. So I'm excited for you to see them.
Yeah, I need to start using big new stuff. I literally turned a corner last night from being frustrated with I'm using Morgoth's sword, I'm using like old armor. Like I like all this stuff. And frankly, to be fair, there's so much stuff in the base game that I didn't really get a chance to use a lot of it. So it's not that bad, but I'm like, I kind of want to try this. And then I tried a few things, like I said, and I was like, no, thank you. This is like poking them with a tree branch. I'm like, I'm not doing this. But then I went back. I was like, oh, I can buy all the way up to a pretty high level. I just need to like rebalance and buy things. So I'm going to do that and see how it feels.
It can be hard with a DLC, right? When you're like continuing a character that you haven't played in like 2 or 3 years to like.
I know. I always feel like I need to record a video for myself. Like when I quit a game, be like, hey, when you come back to this game in 6 months or whatever, here's what you were doing and how your build works. Because I have the same problem.
Way to like dual hand weapons? What button am I supposed to hit to do that?
Yeah, I went through that.
That was us in Nightreign. We were running around and we're like,
holy.
I was playing with Dimitri as well, and he's played a ton of Elden Ring, and we're all just like, we're currently thinking of how to use our hands but we're like, okay, wait, how do you dual wield again? Wait, how do I switch to the offhand again? Wait, what was the button for the? So I kept forgetting everything. But I think I'm getting there.
The amount of times I stood there, I don't know why triangle in my head is attacked, just slamming triangle.
I was just chugging drinks, trying to attack with square because that's how you Akuma punch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that how the Souls like. I hate how the Souls like genre seems to willy-nilly like switch which is going to be the dodge button and which is going to be like the drink your healing potion button. Like what the fuck? I mess this up on every game.
Some convention that binds all gaming companies together. Go, listen, guys.
Or let me fucking switch the buttons.
Circle
to whatever
is always
I want.
dodge.
Yeah, let me switch the buttons.
The worst part for me is that there are controls differences between Nightreign and Elden Ring because of the new abilities and stuff. So I really am gonna have to pay close attention. Like, I'm pretty sure two-handing is a different button. It's the same process. It's just it's like a different button now in Nightreign. But anyway,
did Liza P get a new trailer, Watts?
Oh, Liza P. Did we talk about
Overture?
that
We talked about it last week. Yeah.
Did you? I got a new trailer, right?
They had some people play like a little bit of the first areas, so there was a bunch of impressions and new weapons and stuff that was.
And that's a start from scratch DLC, right? You're not continuing your save. You're just starting like a brand new.
I think so. Yeah, because it's a prequel to what happened in Lies of P, so it makes sense that you don't obviously have the stuff that you had before.
I'm looking forward to that. I enjoyed that game so much, and that weapon system where you can combine parts of weapons to make like your own new creation was so much fun, and to get back into that would be a good time.
And still no release date or anything, right?
Not yet, no. Not yet. I assume
it's this year,
it's this year, yeah.
Okay.
I assume at this point, we're weeks away from Summer Game Fest. Like if you're ready to announce your game, you might as well just wait.
Can't wait for that marathon trailer.
You know what I played this week? Battlefront 2.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Right. It had a resurgence. What's going on?
Yeah.
Why? What's happening?
I don't know.
There's a lot of theories.
Was it like the Monster Hunter thing where they were like, go play Monster Hunter? And they were like, okay. And everyone just
I think there
play.
was a combination of people probably won't want to admit it, but like Star Wars being in Fortnite, and then Andor, and then
May the 4th.
May the 4th. I guess Destiny had a Star Wars thing. Is that out? Destiny did a Star Wars collab too, right? So it's just I think just general stuff.
And Andor ended as well.
Yes, I mean,
Andor ended. Okay, I gotta watch it now.
Me too.
It's safe.
And
It's so
I think
good.
most people kind of remember Battlefront being like good, but ruined by microtransactions. So I'm pretty willing to go back and give it a shot. And
I played it a little bit back in the day. It's fun, right?
Yeah, it's super fun.
Really fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
So
I think they
I've been
fixed the
getting matches,
microtransactions
like-
too.
Dude,
Well,
a
they toned
lot
it
of
down.
people are playing it.
I don't think there is any. I think they're just gone.
Good.
I haven't
Battlefront
even
2,
seen them.
right?
Yeah.
Battlefront 2, yeah. Or
Yeah,
maybe
when
there
that
still
game
is.
first
I don't know. I
released,
haven't-
they had like pay to win microtransactions. Legit.
Well, you get these loot boxes, and I don't think that's in it anymore. Like you still get them, but they've just got one thing in them.
no,
and
you
so I
could
bet you've got
buy
clips-
more powerful weapons when that game released.
Yeah, so there are aspects that are a little bit frustrating if you're just coming back to Battlefront 2. Like coming back to any game that's been around for years, there are people that have never left and they've like stuck through it, and they are going to obliterate you because they know like every angle. It's just like playing a Battlefield, or it is like playing a Battlefield game. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's right, yeah.
takes a while to learn the map and like learn where everyone's coming from and like where you can be peeking and that. And there is a card system that you level up that can just literally give you like more damage resistance, improved shotguns, improved grenades, and it goes from a rarity of white to purple, going from 5% to 50%. So kind of be prepared to get your head kicked in a little bit when you first start. However, you can level them up in co-op, and a lot of the guns you have to unlock, you have to do co-op to actually unlock them. And I was really reluctant to do co-op. I was like, I want to play PvP. That's why I'm here. I had an absolute blast in co-op with a couple friends, like just shooting droids, shooting clones, fighting Anakin. Like it's pretty epic and it's pretty fun.
It's a fun game.
That game is
It's a fun game.
a really good game.
Yeah.
It was just ruined. Its hype was just ruined at launch because of the microtransaction bullshit.
Yeah,
and it's a real shame because they made a great game.
And one of the best modes. Do you remember Ewok Hunt? Ewok Hunt?
No.
So you have, it's like what's it called
Careful how
in
you
Halo?
say
Where it's
that.
like
I know. I was like, am I hearing
You're
it
saying
right?
the C word, right?
Ewok.
Feel like he did it
Ewok.
on purpose.
You said Ewok cunt.
Ewok Hunt. They're not the same word. Ewok Hunt.
No, we all heard you.
Yeah.
We all
An
heard the
Ewok.
first
Too late
time.
to cover it up now,
Cover
Myelin.
down before we get banned, all right?
Is that why Briar looks most of his eyes ever opened up?
He's going on a rant, an
Ewok
Australian
cunt.
rant.
You Australians just throwing it
So
around.
one person starts off as an Ewok and has like third person night vision and a spear and has like the little, I don't know if you remember, they can throw like a little
Sling.
bomb
Jab,
that has like
Yeah.
fireflies that
Jab, jab.
like disrupt them. And everyone else is a stormtrooper. They don't have night vision. They have a flashlight and a blaster, and they're locked into first person. And as the Ewok, as you kill stormtroopers, they become Ewoks, and it is so good because you end up just a bunch of bears running around Endor, like throwing bombs at stormtroopers running away and trying to stab them. And they gotta hold out until like reinforcements come and get on the ship. It is crazy fun, and it's like a lobby for it. People still go in it and like play it. Yeah, it's really good fun.
It's crazy.
The other good mode is Galactic Assault, which is like scenes from Star Wars movies, basically. You know, like big battle scenes, and you play as one side where you've got to like invade a certain space, but like it's very epic. It's like all the things you'll remember from movies, and just going, man, this is really cool. And then you get to flip it and reverse it. Put your name down.
Put your hand down, flip it,
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, infection from Halo. That's pretty much Ewok Hunt. It reminds me of a time
all-
where you
all
just
I can hear.
Really? You can't hear it.
It's the only thing I can hear.
I think because when you're saying it, you're keeping
Ewok-
the K there. Ewok
Okay.
cunt. Ewok
Yeah.
cunt. You know.
He really
That's
stresses
a
the K,
six-
is
I
what it
think
is.
he's doing it on
Ewok
purpose.
cunt.
I think he's
Ewok cunt.
gaslighting us.
It's K. It's K and H is coming together to
Yeah,
produce
Yeah,
a
they
C.
are.
sorry about that. Very Australian. It's a good time. Highly recommend.
That's cool,
it's
though.
on. It's on. So if you would like to, it's on Game Pass, which will then force EA Play to open, and then you'll play through EA Play.
Oh,
it.
really?
Love it.
Yes.
It's great.
You have to go through
Yes.
a play? Well, wait, if you
Yes.
own it, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, or do you?
If
No,
you
you still
have
have
it
to
on
go through it.
Steam, it's gonna open up EA Play still as well.
Oh
Mhm.
God! Like that was just the deal they had in place.
I think
Or is
Ubisoft
all
does
EA
that
stuff
still,
still
too,
that way?
right?
Ubisoft does it as well.
Yeah, it was like ways to get
Division 2
people to
does
sign
it as
up.
well.
Any company that has their own launcher, that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's annoying as hell.
It's not crossplay
And
either. It is because it's too old.
It's,
It's
kinda
not
old.
crossplay.
I don't know.
and
It's not.
I have a huge amount of issues getting people in my team and to group up and not getting the invites. They don't have the Ubisoft overlay
Oh my
on. They're
God.
like the invites not coming through, and like so there's still stuff like that.
You hear
And
that, Nightreign?
The,
Get on top
the
of it
servers
now.
were
You
so
regret it
full
later.
over the weekend, you couldn't log in to like EA Play. You couldn't
What?
connect to like
What is going
EA.
on? Why
There was
is
so many
this all
people
of a
playing.
sudden-
That must have been like crazy for the people who like just kind of maintained a small user base. Like
Right.
Yeah.
I'm actually picturing like on the Death Star and stuff where the alarms are going off. Like that's what was actually happening. It was like exactly. And they're like,
We
"What?
have players.
To battle
we
stations.
have players.
We need the servers online now."
People are literally playing.
That's so
Yeah.
good. God. Yeah, that game
Oh.
was 2017. Good for them.
Jeez.
Wow.
Late
Different
bloomer.
times. Yeah.
Only 8 years later.
Should we wrap
Yeah,
this one
I
up?
hope. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I've been doing this week.
We've been playing lots of Nightreign. Lots
Yeah,
of
I wanna play
lots
some
of
Nightreign.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
so
gonna get some
fun.
Nightreign.
Eat
I've
dinner and-
legit had so much fun. I just want to get back on and play more Nightreign.
We'll be playing tonight, Watts.
I'll hop in chat.
If you want to hop in, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
I'll be
Mylin's
playing.
like, ooh, wait, what?
Yeah,
Oh,
if you're looking, Myelin, let me know.
I think I'll probably play a bit more after. I've got
But I'm
another
gonna eat first, so it's
I've got
like,
another appointment for me thummy, because that's still broken.
oh yeah.
So I'm
Congrats on
gonna
that.
go see the therapist.
that your
and
thumb is
then-
gonna die playing. You're just pressing the to run all the time.
Honestly, so I can't
Is it
run.
helping?
I I can't do L3. I don't have enough.
Oh.
So I can.
So you
I
can press the circle. You can hold the
This
circle.
is fine. This is fine.
Okay,
This is
okay.
fine.
So you can hold
'cause there's
circle and run,
It's a
right?
left thumb.
That
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. I hold circle. I hold circle.
Hold circle. Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Accessibility
Thank
from software. Not good,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. I don't really want to go back to the foot pedal for run because that was.
Can you imagine in Elden Ring too? You're gonna be panicking and just. That'd be great. Maybe you should.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with more fun and games. Is it Game Fest? Is that next week?
Summer Games Fest.
When is it?
It's like the
Ninte-
6th of.
Is it the 6th?
I think it's the 6th. I think it's the same day as Switch too, isn't it? It's either the 5th. or the
Switch
6th.
2 is the
So the
4th.
day
That's Wednesday
after the podcast.
night.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have no news for you.
Okay,
There'll
we'll
be
have
zero
predictions
news.
possibly.
Predictions
there-
is
yeah.
a good idea.
I'm gonna let you
Ooh,
know
no problem.
exactly what's gonna
Prediction pod. I like that.
But Switch 2 will
Prediction
be out
pod.
when we come back, and
Switch 2.
there will be news, I'm sure, ahead of Summer Game Fest that people
Yeah.
release. So
Yeah,
I
there'll be
won't
something.
surprised.
Okay.
All right. See you next week.
Alright.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Alrighty.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.